Okay, so today we're taking a look at the Lidl Powerfix long reach screwdriver set, which they've got in now at the moment. I just picked them up 2 days ago, and also take a look at, well, I picked this up previously, the Powerfix ratcheting screwdriver set, but it's a mini screwdriver. I wouldn't call it a stubby one. It's not quite as small as a stubby screwdriver, but it's not your usual sized ratcheting screwdriver, which is why I picked it up. You know, you can use that in smaller areas and things like that. I didn't really have one that size, and it wasn't that much, so I just I chucked that in. As you can see, it's almost the size of a stubby, but you know, a stubby's about that, you know, half of the handle size, isn't it? So, but I'd say a mini ratcheting screwdriver as opposed to a stubby one and a full size one, somewhere in the middle. So we'll take a look at that as well. Again, nothing too complicated and in depth to get into, but I'll cut open the blister pack and take a look. Now, obviously, this has got a wall mounting bracket as well with it to hold all the screwdrivers, and the screwdrivers are going to be the same as the wall mounted set of regular size screwdrivers, along with a bit driver and bits that I have already got on the wall in the garage. I don't know if I did a video about that, or whether that I'd already put those on the wall and was already using those, but I've been using those in the garage for a while, the regular size ones with the holder, and I've had no problems with them whatsoever. No problems with the bits of on the end have been hard, and they've not you know, rounded out or chewed up or anything like that, and they're still going. They get used all the time. So these are the same thing, just a longer version again with it, and with another mounting rack. So I'll open these and we'll take a little closer look at them, but obviously we won't need to look too in depth on. Okay, so we open up the packet and we could see, so if we take a look at the back of the piece on a selection, you can see we've got a Phillips 1, Phillips 2, a slot 4, SL4, Torx 20, Torx 25, Torx 30 size drivers in the set. So they give you a rack. It's got Powerfix logo on it, but if we take a look, you can see there's just put some mounting holes in there, but we've got no what we haven't got is no included little wall plugs or little screws. Now, I can't remember the regular set that I bought a while ago with the holder, whether there were screws and wall plugs included in there, or whether I had to use my own. I can't quite remember that. However, they did put one of these little plastic things in there, which heightens in the blister pack one of the screwdrivers, so the handle can sit outside of the outside of the blister pack, so you can check the handle, what it feels like, or whatever, for a sale technique. But looking at that, you know, obviously that just gets chucked away, because once you get you put it back in the rack as normal. You know, you could probably, for the price of what they made that big plastic thing, you could have probably put a couple of plastic little plastic wall plugs and a couple of little cheap screws in there to fix it, with all already at the right size. So that's one thing they could have done, but they haven't. You take a look at the rollers themselves. If we can move this camera back slightly, because again, they are a long screwdriver. This is the problem when you're looking at something that's fairly large. You can see I've got a 30 centimetre rule here. So I'll put that up against the handle, and you can see the length. So it's a couple of millimeters. It's about 3 or 4 millimeters shy of being 30 centimeters in length. The actual length of the, what do you call it, the blades on the end, isn't it, or the tips on the end, so the actual shaft of the driver. There was some indication on here where it says S&K T30, which is the Torx 30 times 300 millimeters. So it's a little shy. It's a little shy of 300 millimeters. However, it does sink into the handle at the handle end. So it's saying that it's 300 millimeters or 30 centimeters, but it's, you know, it's just a touch. It's just a touch shy of that. And again, what have we got? We've got here Suki International on there. I'm not quite sure about that. Again, Suki International, don't know. If I get the macro in, we can have a look at that. Okay, see if we can zoom in a bit with the macro. You can see it says Suki International, and that's just the test and distribution on there. There's a Germany on there, but again, I would say again likely to be an import. That's just the importer on there. If we can take a look, I don't know if we can see on the macro the S&K T30 times 300 millimeters. So that's what it says on there. Again, can we take a look at the tip? Can we take a look at the tip there? On the Torx, there's another Torx there. Smaller Torx, your T20. Your PH2. Your slot. Yeah, that's quite small. Quite a small blade, that one, for the flathead. I would have expected it to be a touch bigger. And we've also got our PH1. Size. So they're all pretty much the same thing. The handles are all exactly the same. They've all got this slightly softer red compound over a hard black plastic. And there is a hole in there, so if you do need to, if you want to overhang them or put another screwdriver through as a T-bar, you can. Other than that, it's just the holder's just a cheap plastic holder really. It does have the sizes marked out along the front, and you will have to find your own size wall plug and screws. So a little bit easier now to view the mini ratcheting screwdriver set. Doesn't say that on the box, but I call it a mini ratcheting screwdriver. It's not the full size ratcheting screwdriver that we're used to, and it's not stubby sized as far as screwdrivers go. So I tend to call it mini, you know, or mid. You could call it mid-sized, I suppose. And there's a list of all the bits that come with it. They've also saved space by making sure that one goes. So when you put it away, you'll always have to put one bit in the driver itself. So we can zoom in. Well, it says we got slot sizes 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 and 6mm. We've got 2 pH, that's Phillips North, 2 Phillips 1, 2 Phillips 2, 2 Phillips 1 Phillips 3. We got 2 Posi North, 2 Posi 1, 2 Posi 2, and 2 times Posi 3. We've got a Torx 10, a Torx 15, a Torx 20, a Torx 25, a Torx 30, a Torx 40, and we've got a Hex or Allen 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 and 6mm, and we've also got a square 1 and 2 bits as well, if you're really going to use those. So take a look, it's basically the same design. Same design handle as the big ones that we just looked at, and the regular screwdrivers that I've got on the garage wall. And the camera does seem to be having a bit of trouble focusing at the minute. So you got your Powerfix logo on there. Same usual hard plastic with the hole running through, so you can put a T-bar through, or if you really do want to hang it on a nail or something, you can do. You got the black hard plastic core coated with a softer red grip. You got your ratcheting piece. It does sound quite nice actually, to be fair. A lot of them do sound quite cheap, don't they? Some of these ratcheting screwdrivers, this one just feel and seem and just sound a little bit better. You switch here for your direction. So you've got a solid lock, so you can just use it as a regular screwdriver. Sometimes I find on a lot of ratchet screwdrivers, if you just need it for a screwdriver to a basic screwdriver that is going to save space because you've got all your bits, so you don't need to carry a Phillips, a Torx, you know, a Posi, a Hex, a flathead. Using it on the lock usually makes them last a lot longer if you just use it as a regular screwdriver in your toolkit to save space. And then obviously ratcheting, you've got both ways, you know, on or off. That seems fine. This one does say it's got that, it's a different company, even though they've just gave them the schematics of what they want their handle and everything to look like, haven't they? This one's got that OWIM, OWIM, and it's got D6.3 on there, so I don't know. Now, it's a little bit mucky, this handle, because I have used this screwdriver It did come in handy when removing the anchors of the toilet cistern when I was replacing the system. The side that was nearest to where the handle is, and obviously that's space restrictive, so I was able to get that in there over a normal screwdriver. So it was a good job that I actually did preemptively just buy that. It was a few pounds in Lidl. It was a good job that I did actually buy that and chuck that in, and because I did need it when the time arose. That's a good thing about a lot of these Lidl and Aldi's products is when you go in there and they're cheap, and you can throw them in, because for that time you haven't got this particular screwdriver. You might not need it all the time, but there is going to be that time when you do need it, and because they're not overly expensive, you can just throw them in your shopping basket or trolley, buy them, use and put them aside in your toolkit, ready for that time when you might need them. Like I say, if I didn't have if I didn't have this screwdriver, I could have probably used a regular fixed stubby out my set in the garage anyway, but because this was to hand here and I had it here upstairs, I was able to just use it without all the hassle of going and you know, finding a stubby. This was easier to actually use than a stubby because I could actually get my hands fully around it, whereas as we all know with a stubby the handle is a lot smaller as well, and we kind of use them when we really have to use them in a tight area where we can't get anything bigger. So again, it comes in a case. You don't necessarily have to keep the case. It's got a handle where it was hung up in the shop that you can put on a nail in your shed or your garage as well, and hang it up on there. But the case is it's okay. Quite tough built as well. Really, there's a rubber lining around it. It's not too bad. No, regular import stuff, but a bit of a lifesaver really, and for a couple of quid. It says in total there's 38 pieces in there, and it's obviously been the VPA standards. It's been tested like most of the stuff is, so can't really go wrong. There's no real English on the back of this, but don't really need it. It says that there is there, but there isn't really. And it just, again on the back here, it just says that OWIM Germany. So again, I think it's imported, and that's just the importer. But again, for the money, they're some fairly decent screwdrivers. The regular ones that I've had on the wall, like I say, in the garage, I've used them a fair lot since I put them up a couple of years now, and I've had no issues with them. No breaking, no breakages, no chewing up ends, no rounding off Phillips bits or Posi bits, anything like that, or Torx bits yet. With those, so you know, I suspect these to be exactly the same kind of build quality, to be honest. So they do seem to be, for the price anyway, a fairly reasonable screwdriver. Now there will be a fair few videos because I won't be able to get a couple up for a while, so I'm getting a few up out the way quickly. I've also got to do the other little glue gun. We took a look at the low wattage one, but I've got the slightly higher wattage one to take a look at as well. That'll be probably going up as well soon.